Hi everyone, I'm Michael Manrique and I'm one of the Habit Guys. We teach realtors prospecting habits so they finally become top producing agents. And welcome to the Realtor Habits Podcast, where agents don't need more stuff, they need better habits. Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by our Habit Guys Facebook group. That's right, we all want to prospect consistently and be more organized. Well, to do that, we need to think, do, and act like a top producer. Watch us prospect live and teach you every week for free in our Facebook group how to get more expired listings, FSBOs listings, how to connect with your sphere. Really learn what to say on the phone to not sound salesy and instead make friends. All you have to do is visit us at habitguys.com/Facebook. Again, that's www.habitguys.com/Facebook and learn all the skills top producers use in their day-to-day business. If you know anyone that can gain value from this podcast, please do us a huge favor and share it with them. We're here to help as many realtors as possible, and we appreciate your help to do so. All right, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is called Lost and Confused, as in what an agent should do first. So often I hear from agents how they're just lost and confused. They don't know exactly what they should be doing to grow their business. They understand what they want. They understand they want financial freedom. They want leads or deals, right? They use these very vague terms. But how do we get there? What are the action steps that we take? Well, what we really want to focus on today is really understanding where our attention should be and what are the benefits of those strategies. So when you're feeling lost and confused about what you do naturally, is that you'll probably find yourself either doing a few things. So the first thing that most people do is that they try to execute a strategy and then it just doesn't lead to that expectation. Again, that expectation is vague. I want a deal. I want leads, right? What does that mean exactly? How do you get leads or deals? I mean, you could just buy it online, right? And that's what happens, right? So someone, somewhere, you see a video, you listen to something on the radio or on a podcast, and someone says, here is the information to get you that lead, that deal. And it sounds super simple. And what happens is you buy it, and sure enough, they are technically leads that they're giving you, or they're giving you the opportunity to get deals. It's there statistically. Just the problem with that is that, again, going back to statistically, the failure rate, to be more specific, your expectation, and this is on an individual basis, your individual expectation as to what is success, what do having leads mean or getting deals, the amount of effort, right? The amount of calls or connecting that it takes to finally get that lead that you want, right? In your mind, or that deal at the end of the day, that failure rate is so high that we begin to stop trusting the tool, the resource, or the process, right? So it's important to understand, number one, that it is absolutely natural. Okay, and let me set the stage here. So I'm speaking to anyone that is lost and confused. So if you're doing well, right? If you understand what a lead means to you and you're getting deals, then guess what? You're probably not going to get as much value from this, except maybe getting back to a foundational place when your business is on a downturn. This will still be beneficial for you. But let's get back to those that are lost and confused as an agent and don't know what to do first, right? So so as I mentioned, so what is common, right, is that our expectation will not be met with what we were told we were getting. And then all of a sudden we decide to distract ourselves. And what does that look like? Well, distracting, right? We still want the lead. We still want the deal. So what do? We find another strategy, right? So instead of using a dialer, we have a company that drops messages into voicemails, right? And on and on and on. There's all these strategies. There's social media strategy, there's this strategy, there's that resource, all these different resources. Oh my goodness, they all close the gap, right? So that's common, right? If you're finding yourself jumping from one tool or resource to another, understand that actually that is a normal way of dealing with feeling an expectation not met, disappointment, right? Because we said we were going to get something, right? There was some understanding. And what we begin to realize is that this process, this tool or resource or system is actually harder, and not necessarily harder, right? But I mean, there could be some that are more difficult for sure. But in some cases, you're just not feeling that sense of progress in what you're doing. And again, I had a student recently go to some sort of convention, and in the convention, what they recommended was, oh my gosh, you got to have your social media. Social media is everything. How many people do you have on YouTube or this or that? And you know, I was a little kind of confused, because if you're not connecting without social media, what are the steps necessary to get you to be good at social media, right? So if you're not doing well at the fundamentals of just connecting with people, then how does social media help you connect with people, right? And what I mean by that specifically is the actions that it takes for you to create content for social media, just like I'm doing now with this podcast, right? Do you have those steps? And if you have those steps, have you done them before? And then once you create the content, how do you know that you're making progress to eventually connecting with someone that you will be able to help in real estate and get you that lead or that deal that you want? And that's where things get vague, where again, the focus, just to keep it very simple, the story that you're being told or the story that you're telling yourself when you're seeing this new tool, resource, or system is you're focusing on the outcome, but you're not thinking about what it takes to actually do and become or maximize that resource, maximize that system, maximize, that tool or resource. And this is where, again, we fall into this cycle of lost and confused. Oh, I see something. I'm going to try it out, and then it doesn't meet my expectation. So I feel lost and confused. And then I say, oh, I need someone else, right? So ultimately, right, we aren't getting clarity as to what we're doing. And what's really important about what I'm saying is that it's a reoccurring process. And most of you have experienced this, right? If you could relate to this. The problem is you're not self-aware enough to realize this pattern. So ultimately, if we want to be successful, if we want to get away from being lost and confused, what we need is a system that will serve us regardless of the market, regardless of the tool. And that system needs to have you behave like you are a real estate agent that's actually running a business. And what is the fundamental skill every real estate agent must do to run a successful business is they must connect with people. They must be able to earn trust and manage and maintain relationships. That's what it is at the end of the day. So if you're focused on doing a bunch of tasks that have you speaking to a machine, right? And you're creating emails and videos, the question you need to ask yourself, at what point am I connecting with a human being, and then more specifically, that has intent to buy or sell and even lease? If you don't know with absolute certainty how to speak or how to locate that person with whatever system you're using, then we need to get back to the fundamentals of becoming a good real estate agent. And that's what I want to talk about now, the solutions to get away from this confusion it all starts with, again, calling and connecting with people you know and putting yourself in a position to connect with people about real estate where it doesn't feel awkward, okay? So there's two main ways to do this, right? So if you're feeling lost and confused, this is where you need to go. And this should be a foundational business practice for every single agent. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table, as it said, right? You're not maximizing your business opportunities, okay? So the two solutions we're gonna be talking about here, the first one is gonna be to call your sphere, your past clients, okay? And then the second one is open houses, okay? So let's talk about this process. So lost and confused is a feeling, okay? And when we're lost and confused, are we moving forward to accomplish our goals, to act like a realtor, or are we feeling paralyzed or distracted, right? That's the first question that we need to get absolute clarity with, right? So let's use a metaphor, right? So if I was driving on a car and I had a destination to get, I was on the road on the turnpike or a highway and I'm trying to get to a destination. If I'm feeling lost and confused, is my foot on the gas, on the accelerator, or is it on the brake? Am I getting off at exits or am I moving toward the direction I want to go, right? The answer you guys all should clearly see, right, is that if you're lost and confused, you are not moving forward in that moment that you are feeling lost and confused, okay? Now, what's important to note is that moment of lost and confusion can be momentarily, and it's natural, so you know, to be lost and confused, feel discomfort in what you're doing, anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. Okay, so imagine you're implementing a system and then you're like, oh, I don't know, this is not feeling well. I don't know what to do next, right? 1 to 3 minutes, that's fine if you feel that way. If it's longer than that, 3 minutes or more, right? Then that's where you're probably gonna run into this process where you're always going to be chasing that new thing, that instant gratification, that new resource or tool or system. And one of the things that we have to realize is this process, is that discomfort comes with growth, right? One of the things that everyone wants, instead of to feel lost and confused, is they want to feel confident. In real estate, the way you gain confidence is through taking action. So after you take action on a tool, on a system, on a resource, once you use it or once you go through that process is where confidence is formed, right? A great definition of confidence is self-trust, right? And what does that mean exactly? Well, you have enough confidence or trust in yourself to take the actions necessary, to ask the questions necessary to continue moving forward on this journey, right? If we're on a car, moving forward on this journey to the destination we want to get to, okay? So at the end of the day, the way that we feel confident is by behaving like a realtor and feeling a sense of progress in what we're doing. And the best way, the most effective way to do this is to connect with people that you know already, that you have relationships with. Because instead of you coming across the failure rate that every single realtor comes across when wanting to grow their business, right? When looking for leads, when looking to close deals, instead of being, in that 1 to 3% range as to your effort and what you're doing, instead, by connecting with your sphere, by following up with your sphere in the way that we teach it, all of a sudden you get absolute clarity. And as you're getting clarity, you're actually having conversations. You're actually talking about, real estate, or just making sure that you are identifying the individuals in your sphere or your past clients that would refer you business. And then we can create a system that will allow us to follow up with those individuals time and time again. And what you'll find with that process is that your confidence will go up. You will feel better about what you're doing. And ultimately, that'll allow you to apply the same principles with other prospecting methods that you're able to do later on. The other strategy is open houses. And again, open houses gets you talking to people. When you are in an environment and that's geared towards the potential opportunity for you to get an actual lead, right? A lead, as I like to call it, just a simple way, is a prospect that has intent to buy or sell. So at an open house, people are walking in, you would think that they would have some sort of intent, right? It would be, there's a range of that intent, right? A want versus a need to buy. But you would have the opportunity to connect with those people. And again, what we're focusing on here is, what do you do first when you're lost and confused, right? You try to host an open house, right? Or the other option, as I just mentioned, is connecting with your sphere or past clients. And it doesn't have to be a ton of them, right? So this is something that we talk about, that we teach, and then we go into the most critical part of this process, which is the follow-up process, right? And that's how you build a consistent business, is because of your follow-up effort. So again, just to recap, if you're lost and confused as an agent and you don't know what to do first, what you want to do is you want to go back to the fundamentals that you should have set up from the very beginning, which is connecting with your sphere and past clients, right? And if you need a script for that, go to habitguys.com/free. Again, that's habitguys.com/free, and go ahead and grab our scripts to help you have those conversations. The other thing that we mentioned that gets you out of this lost and confused realm and into moving forward on this highway, right? Instead of being paralyzed or getting off at an exit and getting you back on track, you also ideally would want to do open houses if that's available to you, okay? So there you go. So when we feel better, when we feel a sense of progress in the direction of our goals and the direction of the type of real estate agent we want to be, the more action, the more steps, the better we are at following through with the things that need to get done. And if our focus is constantly on the things that need to get done, all of a sudden, people will start realizing how good you are at what you're doing, which will then allow more business to come to you, okay? So if you don't know this process and you want to understand it in a more step-by-step level, I want to encourage you to go to habitguys.com/call. At the moment, we have a few coaching spots available. So if you're interested in signing up for a free coaching consultation where we dissect your business and show you exactly what you need to do to move your business forward, so you stop yourself from feeling paralyzed or distracting yourself and getting off the highway that's going to help you reach your goal, go ahead and go to habitguys.com/call. All right, that wraps it up. In closing, here is the missing piece to your business. It's accepting that when you know better, you do not necessarily do better. You do better when you change your habits. Let us help.